In order to start and make this a little bit cleaner on the audio and record it, if you're not speaking, please try and mute your microphone. That usually works well. And then if you have something, if you have to speak at all, just feel free to unmute and speak it well. Yeah, so today we'll be installing Quip. It is our main learning software we'll be using. We're gonna start doing that. So if you want to take over, Brian, go ahead.
Sure. Thanks, Carson. Cool. So I'm gonna start off by sharing my screen with y'all. So today what we're really talking about is how we can dominate Quip, how we can dominate the next 4 months here and make some kick-ass manuscripts. I'm excited about this. I've been talking with Carson and Eric about this for the past couple of weeks here, seeing, so many awesome, beautiful faces here on Zoom. Excited to have you all kick off with this wonderful adventure with Carson. So without further ado, I'm just going to dive right in. So we're going to cover 3 main things today. The first big one is making the most of Quip, really understanding that as a platform, because as Carson said, that is where we're going to be doing everything. We're not going to be using Microsoft Word, no Google Drive, none of that. Purely all on Quip, as we'll get into a little bit here. Second big thing that we'll talk about is how Quip is the best way for communication, hands down, in terms of reaching out to anybody, especially Carson here. And then 3, any expectations we have here for the Creators Club that we've got going on right now. So these are the 3 things that we're going to cover today, and then I'll let Carson really run the show on this one, because it's his thing.
Yep.
So the first big thing is Quip, as Carson said. Quip has an app both on both a phone mobile app as well as a desktop app on computers. The first thing I'll do to make sure everybody has Quip downloaded, because that may not be a given yet, is to actually walk through the process of going on to Quip on the computer. Just that way we're all on the same page with that one before we actually go in and actually understand all the ropes of making Quip succeed. So ignore the fact that I have 60 tabs open right now. And then if you just go into Google and you just type in quip.com, this is the app, this is the website. Odds are you've already gotten an invite to Quip, so that's really not that big of an issue.
And I'm about to resend it for everybody in case you didn't see it. So just hold up 1 second. But yeah, go ahead, Brian. Keep explaining.
Yeah. So Quip, as I'll get into, is a great collaboration platform software, as we'll be getting into here. So really, it's amazing for so many things. So many other people use it. Let me Quip download. If you just type into Quip download, you can find Quip on the App Store. It's pretty straightforward and easy to find. That's for the app. So you can log in with email. Where is the download button? Always have difficulty finding it. Whatever. So you can log in simply from the computer, which is fine. But if you either go into the App Store, on Google, search for it, you can be brought to here. If anybody has the App Store on their computer, you just open it up.
And I sent you guys all an email just now. Let me know if you get it. It's been a little slow on my end. It's buffering, but yeah.
Yeah. But when you open up the App Store and you type in Quip, it's the first thing. I got to update Quip eventually. But Quip is the place where we're doing everything. So definitely right now, take the next 5 minutes here, either on the App Store, either looking it up on, Quip download in Google here. Download the app to your computer and to your phone. Just you'll understand the beauty and the magic of it as we go along.
Okay, emails should have come through by now, guys. If you want to check, maybe just sent.
Yeah.
Did some people get it? Anyone? Yeah, I'm seeing some nods. No. Here, keep refreshing. It was whatever email you put down as for when you signed up. So yeah. So click on that. It should bring you to the our author folder. And Brian, yeah, just keep explaining the great parts about Quip.
Yeah. So I'll get into it once everybody has the app downloaded, because it has to be on your phone. It has to be on your computer. Don't just rely solely on the desktop page here through Chrome or Safari or Firefox or whatever platform of choice you use, because the web browser version is great, but in all honesty, you need to use the versions on your phone, whether it's a Droid phone because it's on the Google Play Store, or on the iPhone App Store, or the desktop app.
And make sure you have notifications on. I don't know if you already said that, but
Yeah.
especially on your phone. You might get quite a few, but definitely keep them on. So.
Yeah. And there's a way to modify specific notification settings as we can get into later. But definitely have it, just because the more access you have to Quip and the easier you can communicate with Carson here over the next several months, it's going to be leaps and bounds and change your life in so many awesome ways that I can't even begin to explain, aside from just so many moments and conversations I have with people where they will sit down with me on Quip and then have a back and forth message with me, and they'll be like, oh, I get it now. It just makes so much sense.
Yeah.
So
he's right.
I'm going to wait until I have confirmation from like pretty much everyone in here, in some verbal or written form that they have the Quip app downloaded, because it is a thing and it is amazing.
Yeah.
Boom. One person has both downloaded. Sweet. How's everyone else doing?
I see some of you are like already on the looking at the page, which is good. Yeah.
Boom. Another person.
Yeah, the chat. So yeah, there you go. That's good.
Yep. I want to wait one more minute before I move on, but seriously, it's amazing. It's a game changer, as you'll see.
And also, like, this Quip stuff is pretty important. So if you guys like have any questions after this just onboarding session, please reach out to Brian or I. We want to make sure you have it right. So yeah.
Okay. So at this point, most everyone, if not everyone, should have Quip downloaded to your phone and to your lap and to your computer. It is a game changer. I'm now going to log out of this because I don't even use the web browser version anymore. Just out of habit, because the desktop app is amazing. As you can see, I have like 7-10 tabs open on Quip right now. It's destroying my computer. It's fine. But yeah, so what exactly is Quip? Why are Carson and I really saying it's the gospel here, and why you need to be fully using it to the fullest potential is, first and foremost, Quip is Google Drive meets Slack. If you've either used Slack before, know what Slack is, know anything about it as like a chat platform for communication, or you use Google Drive before, using Quip should be pretty easy and self-explanatory to understand. It's just a combination of those two platforms, both from a communication standpoint and from just a collaboration tool standpoint as well. Even if you've never used Slack, it's like any other chat messaging platform like Facebook Messenger, AIM, although that dates me, things like that. So Quip is Google Drive meets Slack. And there are 3 key things that I want to share with everyone so they fully understand the awesomeness of Quip and just the power that you have at your fingertips here. So the first big feature about Quip that you have to understand, exactly the same like Slack or any other communication platform, if you used it, is the almighty tagging function. You can tag people in chat messages, documents, comments. Pretty much if you can write something, you can tag someone there. And the reason I emphasize this is the most important thing to know about Quip is because you're going to be doing a lot of different things on a lot of different documents, and the just clearest way to make sure everyone's on the same page is to tag it. So just simply, @ plus their name. It highlights blue when they've been tagged successfully. So the quickest way is to tag Carson if you have questions or you want to talk about anything. He is a Quip guru.
Okay, yeah.
So that's the first big thing that, like, if you understand that, you are off to success. The second big thing is to join the notification squad here. You get notifications on your phone and on your computer now that you have downloaded the Quip app. It is extremely powerful for keeping track of everything. Whenever you've been tagged on something, commented on something, liked on something, added to it, whatever, it's just super powerful and amazing for keeping track of where things are, at least in your recent memory. And then the third big thing is the almighty search bar. I get about 60-70% of questions I get asked every day from people is, where do I find something? The honest answer is you can find it yourself pretty simply, just by typing into the search bar at the top right corner of your screen for it. The simplest way to think of it is just whatever the name of the document is, whoever the person is, whatever the folder is, you can find it pretty easily. Just want to let you know that you have that power at your fingertips if you use it to your fullest potential. The last big thing is that there are additional guides, instructions, tips, and tricks on how to succeed at Quip. Carson can add you to this folder after this session here, but it's simply instructions how to use Quip, and it's got guides on using everything from adding documents, creating shareable links. You lost so much content that you wrote, going back to an old version of like on Google Drive, creating copies of documents, things like that. Even downloading documents from Quip. There's different tools, things at your disposal that if you don't realize it, it's not, you won't take full advantage of it. But there's a folder here with things on that for you to take advantage of. The other big thing that I'll stress here, be really important for you to know, is if you have a question about something and it's not answered in an obvious way by thinking Google Drive meets Slack or in this folder, just send a question to Carson. He's more than happy to let you know the answer to that one. It's pretty straightforward, but always happy to answer questions like that, and happy to make like a guide document here as well in case you're missing anything on that one either. So that's really Quip. The best things that you should know about it in a nutshell: almighty tag function, all-powerful search bar, and joining the notification squad, being those 3 key things. So the big thing that I'm going to leave Carson to really hand off here is showing exactly how Quip works and focusing on the importance of organization, because it's very easy to feel overwhelmed on this platform, but at the same time, there's so much magic that can happen here, as Carson can get into, that when you make full potential of it, it's just a game changer. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and let Carson take over here.
Yeah. Well, let me share my screen. Yeah, guys. So, is there any questions before we like begin doing like to begin setting up the setting up your individual author folders? Anything? Anyone? Hold on, Brian. I'm having a hard time sharing the screen. Uh, which button is it?
It's the green share button.
Oh, that's what it is. Oh, duh. Okay, sorry, guys. Okay, so can everybody get here? I know several of you are. It's what I invited you to. It's like the link. Um, if you, I see there's like 7 of you here. I think we have a few more than that. Yeah, keep coming in, guys. It's important. The first thing I'm gonna have you guys do is when you get on here, go to author materials. If you'd all come here. And then we're going to create a new folder. Everyone's going to make their own. I'm going to use Brian's name for this folder just as an example. You guys can choose like a fun color instead of just like yellow, whatever color you like the most. And yeah, so now let's see. Yeah, everyone keep making their little folders. Then you can, oh, that's the wrong button, sorry. All right, yeah, I keep putting them in here. All right, great. Like to see that. All right. The next thing I want you guys to do, once you have your folder, is if you're viewing my screen, come to templates. Oh, yeah, it's gonna mess around a little bit. But come to templates. All right. These are all extremely important. These are basically, I guess, our 3 devices we're going to be using quite a bit throughout this semester. So it's very, very critical I'm going to talk a lot about these, I'm sure. But the way I like to do it, I don't know if there's a better way. Brian, you want to chime in? But you can copy a spreadsheet. So like make your own Carson Shutter Stories Index or whatever your name may be. So I'm assuming none of you.
Yeah.
Right? And then,
bro, one thing I'll jump in here with real quick.
Yeah.
The importance of naming conventions here
Yes, absolutely.
File and folder, because it makes a huge difference in your ability to find it later on. So making sure it's really clear that it's your name and then story index, your name, interview dashboard, your name, research dashboard. Because it's super powerful as we bring in your developmental editor in the next month or so and all these other people. As they try to find things for you and try to keep along with your journey, it'll be important for them to quickly find it. Of when we're talking about a story index, boom, we can just type into the search bar Carson Shutter Stories Index and find it pretty quickly, no problem. Really pay special attention to naming. Like remove the word template, remove the word copy. I'm a big stickler about it because it makes organization super powerful and super easy later on.
Right, absolutely. And this is like our typical format we do, as he was saying, name, colon, and then whatever the original name of the document is. I forgot we're doing an example, so I'll do Brian. And then you can copy it to private. That's how I usually like to do it. And then from there, you have it still, and then you can move it to another folder. So I have a lot of folders, but you guys should not have as many. And then you can sorry guys, you can move it to the folder that you're in. So like your author materials folder. So for me, it would be right here. And we need to do that for, it says I'll share with other people. Don't worry about that. And you need to make sure you do that for all the things, right? Like interviews, dashboard, and research. It's very important we do this now, guys. Because it'll become very important later on. And while we're doing this, something important I want to talk about is that what like some of these mean. The first thing I did was oops, that's not what I meant. The first thing that I pulled up was the stories index. That's where we're going to be like writing a lot mainly. So like you're going to be you're not going to be writing on the stories index. You're going to be writing in like your own individual quit folder, but you're going to be tracking your word count. And I'll tell you, like, as a kid whose like entire job for a little while was tracking people's word counts, like it's extremely important that you update it week to week. Like it's very, very important to track your progress. If you don't do it, like we're just going to have to assume that you're behind, and it could become a big problem later on. So that's something to keep in mind. I'm going to repeat this several times, but like as you guys are writing, please update your stories index. That's extremely important. Then your research dashboard and interview dashboard too will be also very important. So I'll give you guys a couple seconds. I hope you see the process that I've been doing. And is there any questions like while we're doing this? Anything that anybody can't figure out or anything?
One thing that I'll jump in here with real quick as you move this document over is when you click on move to another folder and select it, as you eventually get more folders, you can just type into that find folder search bar your name, like the name of the folder, and it'll pop up with options for you to select from. And it just makes that entire process much easier for you, so you're not wading through all those folders. Really, the search bar is super powerful. I don't even joke about it. It's amazing, which is why it's really important that you know the names of your folders and the names of these documents more than you know where to find them. Because at the end of the day, if you know that, it's so much easier to find all these pieces down the line.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll give you guys all a couple minutes to do this. I'll like kind of check around. If you guys have any like questions, please ask. We need to get all three of these in here by tonight. That's very important. Yeah. I'll give it a couple minutes. Okay, I see most of you have got it. That's great. I just really want to emphasize how important it is that you have them. Make sure, like, if you haven't got them yet, make sure you have them all taken care of in your folder, because we'll format most of these later on. Like, we're not going to like start working on these today, but these will be very important tools for you. So I strongly recommend if you want to look around, that's fine. Get a little familiar with them. You're going to probably spend a lot of time on these. So so I'll stop the share now. I think that's about all we wanted to cover. What's up?
You could show one last time where to find the documents and quickly the example process for one of the documents, just so everybody's super clear and crisp on that.
Yeah, so for these templates, here is someone take them? Oh, I don't think you guys were supposed to do that. I don't know how that happened.
Yeah, so I can go in and add versions of these documents right now.
I think what you guys did was here for example this. What you did, it was move to folder. You're not supposed to do that. You first want to copy the document. I should have made that a little more clear. Copy document, copy to private, and then with your name, make sure it's labeled correctly. And then from there, you want to move to another folder, if that makes sense, guys. Yeah. It's the same if you want to use the Brian folder. If you still haven't got any of them yet, I don't know where the hell they went, but if you like make sure to do the process of copy, then move to another folder, but make sure you copy first. That it's the same thing. And yeah, make sure you rename it correctly. Yeah. I think that's all, Brian. I'm gonna unshare. Yeah. And then actually I might have to reshare. You want to go through the rest of the PowerPoint, Brian?
Yeah, I'll go through the rest of the stuff. You just re-add template documents into that folder.
Yeah.
So people can use it in the future. But yeah, it's really important to make sure you create the copy and then move it, because otherwise other people won't have access to it. So moving right along here, as Carson said, you want to create a copy, move it to the new folder, move it into your author folder from the templates folder, making sure the naming convention is clear, because that's really important. The next big thing that you need to know about here are how we're going to communicate with each other week to week, or how Carson is going to be communicating with each of you week to week. So we have on Quip a major group-wide chat room where week to week, as you're having sessions, meetings, and important videos and recordings are getting sent around, there's going to be a space for that. So that way the bigger picture things can be shared. But there's also a space for you to communicate more directly in a group discussion format with you, Carson, and a couple other people that are going to be here along with you on your journey. And it's important to really use this room to its fullest potential, because a lot of great magical things can happen. And this is where we're going to be doing all of our individual communication with each of you, and where Carson's going to be running point on all of that. So the big thing, is these updates rooms. So it'll be the title of your chat room as your chat room gets made is going to be updates, and then parentheses your name, first and last name. And that's going to be the place where all of the communication that we're going to do week to week, that Carson's going to do week to week with you, is going to happen. So it's really important that you make full use of that and you actively communicate on there. Because in that room, there are several key teammates here. President Carson is going to be the president-in-chief of each of these rooms. So he's going to be there. He's going to be a great access point right there in those chat rooms for you. Then also you're going to have Lynn, who's going to be in the updates rooms with you. And what the role she is effectively going to play with you over the next several months here, as you go through create manuscripts, and eventually once you get approval for publishing, she'll work with you on the publishing side as well, is she's going to week to week check in with you about the things that you want to do each week. So on Monday of each week, she's going to reach out and say, hey, Carson, here are the 3 to 5 things that you need to do this week. And then on Friday, at the end of the week, she's going to check back in and say, hey, Carson, you did this, you've done that. I don't see this. Where is it? I see this, and I don't see that. So that way every week exactly where you stand on if you've done something, if you've not done something, partial completion, all of those things. And that's the sole role that she's going to be playing with each of you, of letting you know if it's done or not done.
And if I could add to that, part of that is it's very important that you update your stories index, or she basically can't help you. And we really want to make sure you guys, as I was emphasizing, I'm sure you'll hear from me like a million more times, but your stories index is very important. So please make sure you start updating that when we start writing. But that's still a little bit down the road, but just keep that in mind.
Yeah. Because eventually down the line here, the next teammate that you're going to meet is your developmental editor, who's going to work with you to actually create the stories for your manuscript, and then create your manuscript alongside you with this one. And making sure you update these things for Lynn week to week is going to be super powerful when you meet your DE, because that allows them to just jump right into the thick of it and fully understand where you're at, and can be supportive to you when you need it in the right ways. So that's why it's really important in the practical sense, aside from just making Lynn's life difficult and saying week to week, hey, I'm missing this, where is it? because that's when Carson's going to come in and have conversations with you about all of that stuff. And then also in the chat rooms, but very largely in the background, not really playing too much of a part with you, except for here and there sporadically, is going to be Eric and me. Eric is more the big picture when it comes to focusing on book direction and things like that, as you start to have conversations with him about what direction your book is going to go in and all that stuff. And then the role that I really play, as Carson said here at the beginning, is focusing in on the publishing side of it. I'm going to be there and lurking in the background. Eric's going to largely be lurking there in the background, but we're going to be there in case something comes up and you know, we need to chime in with our 2 cents on things. But largely this is how it's going to work, with really Carson running point on a lot of things, and then working with Lynn week to week, tracking things, making sure it's good, and then eventually working with your DE full force to make sure you have a great manuscript at the end of the day. So any questions about that, how these updates rooms are, how they work, and all of that stuff, because it's really important to understand that before we, you know, dive too far into the deep end on this one. Okay, seeing as there are no questions, I'm going to move right along. And the big thing that I want to close it out here on right now is a little bit of real talk about Quip. I have worked with over 100 plus authors at this point, so I can talk from experience on this one. And it may, and what I'll say is this: you may right now feel like, oh yeah, totally, communication, I'm going to be on top of it week to week. Everybody's going to hear from me. But speaking from firsthand experience as a former Georgetown student, now alum, speaking from, you know, being pulled in so many different directions, life gets busy, life gets really hard. It's super easy to forget to drop a note into your updates room and communicate with Carson and everybody week to week. But it's really important that you do. Even if it's just a simple note that says, hey, busy week, I got 3 midterms coming up, not going to hear from much from me this week. Or if it's even had a great interview, but I'm keeping my head down into the grindstone. Or even awesome news, like this awesome thing just happened, didn't expect it to happen, wanted to share it. You know, very little things is super powerful, even if it's not much. Because the biggest lesson I can share with you all is that it's super powerful to drop 2 or 3 little things every couple of days rather than do one massive drop every 3 weeks. I've seen plenty of authors do that mantra of massive drop every couple of weeks, and they're not able to get as much value and as much, you know, amazing magical things happen because they waited to do something, as opposed to just dropping something every couple of days, even if it's small. You know, an interview getting updated on the dashboard here, adding 200 words there when you hit the create stories phase. Just very small things and super powerful. And I will be the first to say, I'm saying this right now, and I know likely for about maybe about half of you, you're going to be like, yeah, totally resonates with me. But about 2-3 weeks from now, you're going to be like, oh yeah, it totally resonated with me. I totally forgot. I'm so sorry. And what I'll say is this: do not feel sorry. Don't worry like you're offending anybody. But I'm just letting you know from experience that if you just practice this early on, it's going to pay huge dividends once you hit the create stories and create manuscript side of things. And I know it's not going to happen for everyone, and that's totally okay. Just want you to know that it's really important regardless to keep that top of mind, because it just makes a huge difference where you jump on a call with someone and you just have this life-altering conversation where it's like, oh yeah, I should be doing that. And then these authors that have this experience, like this author Brandon, who's publishing in March, you know, he was in the same exact boat 3 weeks ago, and now he's cranking out, 4,000 words a week, which is insane. But it's really, really important that you understand that and know that don't be offended or upset, or don't worry that you're upsetting anybody after the fact if you forget to communicate or be on top of things, because it's all totally good, but still really important to understand. So with that out of the way, we can launch our rocket ships and have some awesome experiences and things going forward. So I'll leave it back to Carson here to close.
Yeah. No, that's it's pretty cheesy, Brian, but yeah, it's a good picture. No, I'm really excited to start. I'm going to be co-writing with you guys if you didn't know that. It's going to be a really great semester. My goal, and all of our goals, is to make sure every single one of you publish, and as long as you guys put in a good amount of effort, our system will make it work. And a lot of what Brian said is very true. This has been tried and true, so make sure you really just stay on top of it, stay diligent. I'm a full-time student too. I got a lot going on, so but I'm gonna make sure that all you guys really stay on top of it. So I'm really excited, guys. Hope you enjoyed the onboarding session. I promise the classes will be a little bit more dynamic, but this was a very necessary thing to make sure you guys are ready for the semester. So yeah, that's it. Don't have to come to another one of these. Yeah. Have a good night, guys. You can exit. Yeah. See ya.